Yeah, yes. Yes. Hey, welcome to another segment of the Minister Akridge Show, and I'm your host, Minister Akridge. Tonight, we will be having community talk. We will be having praise. We will be playing some of the best music around. Hey, for your listening ears tonight. So, it's Sunday night, and you're listening live, broadcasting here in the wonderful city of Lewisburg. That's 28 miles north of Raleigh. So I want you to sit back and enjoy this day that the Lord has made, because I will rejoice and be glad in it. Because, hey, he woke us up this morning. We're not in a hospital laid up. We're not connected to all these different things. We are fine. We are well. God blesses us each and every day. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I just love him because of his grace and his mercy, because he watch out for me, because he protects me each and every day. He protects my family. He watch out for my children. Hey, and I love him. He watch out for my neighbors. He watch out for all of us, even my enemies. Because if they wake up in the next day, they are blessed. Even if they are not doing what God has them to do, there's still a chance, because they're having warm blood running through their body. They were able to breathe air. So it's a chance for our enemies to make it right. So let me tell you right now, tonight on the show, I want you young people to call up the show, 919-526-4916. Again, 919-526-4916. We're going to be talking about you teens, what you going through. What's going on in the neighborhood? Why you fighting so much? Why we acting so crazy out here? Why we don't listen to adults? Why we're being disobedient? Why we having trouble in schools? All right, I need you to talk to me, people. You're listening to the show live, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. Amen.
I rode uptown for coffee with a friend. I showed up wet and late, needed caffeine. I took a spill at the door, spilled my coffee on the floor. When will I see the sun again? I need to feel its warmth upon my skin. If it wasn't for these rainy days, think I'd be okay. When, oh, when will I see the sun again? Amen. Let me tell you one thing right now. We got teen violence. We got adult violence. We got so many people. We got people killing one another. We got black people killing each other. We got people just harming each other. All types of races are doing crazy stuff out here. But let me tell you one thing right now. Our young people are listening, and they're looking at us as adults. And we ought to have something in the inside of us that want us to be different, so we can show these young people that we can live with some kind of class. I mean, hey, we need to be classy folks. We need to go back to the point where, back in the 50s and going in 40s and 30s, before them times there, people had some class. They didn't have a whole lot. They were poor. A lot of poor. They were po-po. My uncle said they used to be so poor you had to take a O out because you just got po. Poor. All right. So let me tell you something. They didn't have much. Okay, they worked hard for the little bit of pennies and nickels that they got, young people. The old folk that's 80 to 100 years old, 99, 97, these 80-year-old, 70-year-old people, and actually down to even 60-something. These folk work hard because if they 60, they mean they were young children. And if your grandparents about 90 or 80-something years old, when they were kids, it was rough. But you know what? When they were going to town, when they were riding on the horse and buggy, they were dressed up. They didn't walk around town with their pants sagging down or always want to shoot and kill somebody. Let me tell you something. I was listening to some brothers that went down to the bike rally, and it said there was the worst bike rally. Everybody walking in the street with a pistol. How in the world you going to go somewhere and supposed to be on vacation? We want to celebrate this Memorial Weekend, and everybody down at the bike rally with a pistol. How you going to enjoy yourself walking around and everybody starting something? We got a lost generation out there. We need to get on our knees all across this world, all across this nation, because these young folks are going crazy. Listening to all this stuff on the radio, they're getting high, getting drunk, and then they think they can go out here and do what the gangsters saying on the radio station, on the CDs. They out there understand, like I said in a segment before, you young people, you need to wake up. You try to be hard, throwing up gang symbols. Hey, you trying to be hard and you ain't even cut the first record. You over here ain't even got a house to live in or window to throw your mess out of. You know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say it like we used to say it. But let me tell you, young people, if you listening now, you going to have to get yourself together. You can't be like the crowd. All right, you can't be like everybody else. You ought to be like what God created in you. And if you don't have anybody in your household to show you or to pull out what's good on the inside of you, then you need to get around some folks at school and see how they acting and go ahead on and let some of that rub off on you. Amen? But let me get back to the adults. Now, granted, we got some 40-year-olds, some 50-year-olds, think they still in high school, around here throwing up gang signs and walking around with their pants sagging. And come on. How many years you got to go before you're tired to? Are you going to be walking around 80 years old, still walking around pulling up your pants? No, because you ain't going to be able to pull your pants up and catch your balance. You ain't going to be able to walk straight and pull up your pants when you're getting 70, 80 years old. You ought to understand that what you do now kind of affect what you're going to do later. You're going to walk around here with your underwear showing. When you get a certain age, you ain't going to be able to hold your pants up. You're going to be concentrating on how to make sure your glass don't fall on the floor. Listen, young folk, we got to do better. It ain't nothing wrong with having a little class. We all should be able to have a little class. Dress up every once in a while. I ain't saying you got to go and wear a three-piece suit and a hat all the time, but it's sometime you ought to want to go somewhere and look real good instead of looking like the street. And the old folks used to say hobo walking around looking busted and disgusted. We ought to get away from that, looking in a kind of way. Everybody want to wear a T-shirt. They got the white T-shirt game because this is so-and-so clique, and then you got the one wearing all black T-shirts. That's another clique, and then you got somebody wearing the blue and the red. You know those gangs out here. These gangs don't lead to no place but wrong, either jail or death. That's all. Let me just cut it dry. Death or prison. This is the only thing that gangs, and we got these young folk, these young kids in elementary school throwing up gang signs because the parents sitting there let them looking at everything on TV, BET. Your child, if you're in elementary school, shouldn't be looking at no BET. These women over there shaking the rump. You ought to see them. You know they doing it, and they listen listen to all this fast money. And then when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up, they want to be a rapper. This is what we got going on. We got to grab our community back. I was talking to the preacher at the barber shop. He was sitting there waiting on the cut, and I was like, Lord, I understand. We know we're gonna pray. We know that prayer works. We know that prayer changes things. But God is saying that you can pray, But you got to do something with your hands. You got to do something. You got to put something in action. You just can't sit there and pray and think something gonna happen. Like you just, you need a job, so you just gonna pray on it, and you gonna wait till the man call you. You ain't fill out an application. It don't work like that. You pray, then you go. While you filling out an application, while you putting out your resume, you wait. You are filling out and doing all of that. Then you praying and you waiting to God open that door for you. But you just can't sit there and pray. We can pray that things gonna get better, but we got to have more programs for these kids. We got to have something to do. The community ought to be chipping in and giving a couple of dollars here and there, because everybody in the community could give something. Sometime you could give a couple of dollars. If you give $5 here and another person give $10 here, and then another person, we got 100 folk giving something, then we got a little money. We can take the kids out on the summertime. But it take money. You go waste that over there on them scratch off you buying and ain't one. You done spent $5 on the scratch off and you done wasted $5. You might well have burnt that $5 up, and then you want to sit here and complain. Well, how about you putting a blessing in somebody's ministry, giving $5, $10, $20? I mean, people are really buying $20 scratch off ticket, and then they go home and they ain't won a thing. And then guess what? You done sowed a seed that ain't multiplied. But how about sowing that $20 into a ministry? When we talking about that, you got a frown on your face, but you over there playing $20 lotto ticket, and then you ain't won that. How about giving a seed into some child's life? Amen? Hey, the lines are open. 919-526-4916, or you can send me a Skype message, or you can call me on Skype. Hey, download Skype to any Android or iPhone. Search Minister Akridge. Send me a request, and I will accept your friend's request, and you can be live on the Minister Akridge Show. We're going to keep it going. Looking Glass by Aquarius Blue. Amen.
I'll always remain